probably worth starting immediately to explain a little bit about who your friends are and just what brings them onto the stage.
So, are you game? There you are.
How's that?
Six good-looking fellas. So today is a bit of a sneak preview. Coles is doing something a little bit different, as you may have seen. We've teamed up with not Status Quo this time, but actually One Direction. And the biggest band in the world have done a deal with Coles. You probably know that One Direction are doing 22 concerts in Australia later in the year, and the tickets went on sale a year ago, and I think they were sold out in 90 seconds. One Direction have just released 10,000 tickets to concerts in Australia when they're here in September and October. You can't buy them, but you can win them by shopping at Coles.
How do you get a deal like that across the line?
Yeah, so we kind of pride ourselves on being a very courageous brand and a pretty bold brand. So in this case, we've worked with 9 Live and Channel 9 to pull off what we think is a very exciting deal starting today. So by shopping at Coles on a number of very famous brands like Coca-Cola and Cadbury's and Rexona and lots of other brands too. Every one you buy, you get a docket number, and you can go online and enter the competition. So I don't know whether this is, on behalf of the team that did it at Coles, kind of fantastic or kind of not. We never really know, but we're going to give it a crack and see if we can capture the imagination of Australia.
Okay, now let's go right back to the beginning. You've described this as the $34 billion turnaround. What was the size of the challenge that faced you when you arrived about 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think Wesfarmers, as you guys would know, bought Coles in 2007, and that was a very bold step for Wesfarmers to do that. Ian McLeod, made a bold step, the CEO of Coles, to come. Other people like me came too. And the view at the time was this is obviously it's a fantastic company. Coles is 100 years old next year, so it's been around for a long time, but a bit unloved. And so everybody's come for exactly the same reason, which is to try to build the most famous brand in Australia, retail or otherwise. So that's the mantra.
Now, people take a look at a lot of the stuff you do, and I think they could be forgiven for assuming you don't take what you do very seriously.
Yeah, well, we've got a red hand guitar here, so I don't suppose there are many brands or supermarkets that turn up with a guitar on stage or a bit of this. What I would say is kind of don't be fooled by all the sizzle. Although we pride ourselves in doing it in a compelling way, there's a lot of thought that goes on at Coles and with the partners we work with to think about how we're going to communicate all of the things we want to say. We don't take ourselves too seriously, clearly, but we take obviously the business of Coles and the business of looking after our customers very seriously. So there's a lot of hard work and a lot of thought that goes on behind the scenes.
Well, let's talk about a few of the platforms and a few of the strategies which might or might not be obvious. Maybe let's start with one of the more recent ones, Jenny, the new girl. To some people, she seems like, and she is an annoying, shouty person.
How dare you? Yeah.
But there's a strategy behind it as well. What's the strategy?
Yeah, so I don't know whether you guys have seen a new campaign that we've kicked off with a lady called Jenny. Why she's called Jenny only because our HR director is called Jenny, and I thought that was kind of funny. So we've sort of made Jenny famous. But what we do know is that our customers, so Australian families, they love new stuff. I mean, of course they do, and we all love new things, new products, etc. So, but we also know that in the space of new, it's very generic. Because everybody's saying new all the time. The question is, how to do it in a compelling, engaging and unique way and try to make Coles famous for it. So in our minds, whenever there's something new, we want Australians to think, I bet that's at Coles. And if anybody's doing anything new first, we want Australians to think it's probably Coles. And so we're trying to give some personality to what is a very generic concept, which is just new. So that's why lots of companies are working with us now. Kraft did something recently with us, and lots of others are lining up too, probably many of you in the room, to get on board our new platform, which is Jenny, the new girl.
Okay, another platform around freshness, Curtis Stone.
Good guy. Yeah, so again, you know, what we're trying to do really is to build platforms that are compelling, engaging and unique. So unless it's unique, we're kind of, as a principle, not particularly interested, because otherwise you don't stand out from the crowd. So we started working with Curtis, I think, about 4.5 years ago now. And he's our, call it spokesperson, brand ambassador, I guess, for all things quality in the food space. The recipes would feed the family under $10, but also he talks about, and he's very involved with all the stuff we do, in communicating to Australia that we've got great fresh products. And that wasn't the case, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm sure, at least I hope many of you shop at Coles. You can't go out there and have a chef like Curtis or sponsor MasterChef or say feed the family under 10 or do any of these things if the proof isn't in the pudding. So, you know, if you come in and you buy some truss tomatoes and then you go home and they don't last as long as you thought they would, then you can say whatever you like in the marketing space and in the stores, but if it's not true, it's not true. So the organisation of Coles has done and continues to do just a massive amount of work in the fresh space to ensure that we've got obviously great prices, but more importantly, or as importantly, fantastic quality, because without the quality, you can't tell a story. And Curtis helps us do that.
And about the time, or not long after you involved Curtis, you took what was a risk then of sponsoring MasterChef. Now, has MasterChef driven Coles' success, or would you claim it as the other way around?
No, I think, you know, MasterChef with Channel 10 has been, you know, a fundamental platform for us, and Hamish McLennan, I'm sure, you know, would say the same, you know, the new CEO at Channel 10. A few years ago, and we'd seen MasterChef in the UK. It's actually a slightly different format than runs here, but we've seen it in the UK. And no one in Australia was interested, apart from Coles, and that was, you know, before my time. So somebody made the call at Coles, Tony Phillips, who works in our team, made the call, you know what, we're going to take a punt and we're going to sponsor this thing. And it's now kind of known in the market as kind of the MasterChef effect, both in terms for inspiring families to get out there and cook and have some fun, but it's been great for us. So, you know, without the show, you know, we can't have a big event called MasterChef at Coles, but it actually, I think, works very well in tandem because, you know, lots of people watch the show, and that's good. But I can also tell you, as you would probably imagine, that more people shop at Coles every week than watch MasterChef on TV. So therefore, when we do the big MasterChef push to reinforce our quality, that actually does a lot for MasterChef, the show, as well. So it's a bit of a marriage made in heaven, that one, and it works well.
Rate as a result?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we won't, you know, talk about numbers here.
Feel free, you can.
Yeah, I could, but I won't. But you know, we were the first in, you know, when no one else wanted to come, and lots of other people have jumped in the meantime, and you know, all power to them. But Coles and MasterChef are kind of synonymous with each other.
And I suppose the other thing that Coles is synonymous with now is status quo. Firstly, what was the strategy? What was the strategy behind it? What did you go out looking for before the answer was status quo?
Yeah. So, and again, you know, there's a big red guitar here, which is
it's heavier than you'd think, isn't it?
Very heavy. You know, it's made by Fender, funnily enough. So it really does work. It's very heavy. I think, again, don't be kind of fooled by the sizzle on the sausage, although we're quite proud of the sizzle. At Coles, part of our business and our brand is to bring prices down. So, it's very nice to sit here in the Hilton, and thought I'd wear a new shirt for the occasion and all that. It's all very nice, but the reality is that, average Aussie families, live on $55,000 a year, mum, dad and 2 kids. And so it's not easy. And so Coles, part of our brand and our reason for being and how we want to help Australia is to bring prices down. So we have invested hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in bringing prices down, because it's serious and our customers need the help, and that's why we're doing it. So it isn't a joke. It's a fundamental part of what we're about. Then the question becomes, and all of you would undoubtedly be challenged in a similar way, is it's very easy to bring a price down. The question is, how do you get credit for it? How does somebody know that you've done it? And how does somebody know that you've done it and it's unique? Because right now there are sales going on everywhere, particularly in the apparel kind of space. Even today, the papers are full of half price this, half price that, 30% off that, blah, 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 and it's all blah. And it's just blah. So we're really
you
trying.
Bet with someone to see how many times you can get blah into
But it is blah. And so, we're really trying to be unique. So, then we had a, song, Down, Down, Deeper and Down, which is a sort of famous quote song if you're old enough to remember. We're now using another song with them, Whatever You Want. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're in the ad. They've been with us for a while now. I know their status quo, and I know that they, played on Live Aid. But actually, most people in Australia go, they're just old blokes in the Coles ad. Because they don't even know who they are, and you know what? It doesn't matter. What matters for us is that we've taken prices down because that's serious, and we've tried to do it in a way that Australia finds unique.
Now,
everyone's got a view.
Everyone has a view.
Let's not raise the paddles and do a in or out, but everybody has a view.